Hi, my name is Delshawn Dante Curly Prejean. I am a 49-year-old volunteer member of the six-time ABA champion Jacksonville Giants team on the Ron Scholes. Well, as if you don't know that. Um, I've been with the team in a volunteer role as the equipment manager these 8 wonderful seasons. And this is an interview. This is an interview. And what is the interview for? I believe that the American Basketball Association can provide a quality of life experience for both the audience that comes to see us as well as the men, young men who participate in the game ourselves. I am a graduate of Boyd Anderson High School, but Deerfield Beach High School, which are both in Broward County, is where I attended all my high school. The park or location out in Tamarack, where the Florida Goal, to the best of my knowledge, actually practices. I was about to say rehearses, because this is sports entertainment, right? This is sports entertainment. I played there as a little Jehovah's Witness kid, 16, 17 years old, going out with my dad and all the other brothers after the Kingdom Hall. It's the best courts. It's some of the best action that I'd ever experienced, as a kid. Minus the court that was by my house in Deerfield Beach by the railroad tracks, not too far from the hood. All that aside, I was a club kid in school. Let's do this. I was a club kid in school, meaning that I liked working with groups, and I also liked being the leader in the group as well. FBLA, DECA, the Academy of Finance. Those are three of the premier clubs that I was a part of. Besides drama, I was definitely a thespian in high school. And those things, minus ever getting to play any organized sport in high school, elementary school, junior high school, whatever, those things placed me in a position to be able to see people who were involved in sports and to understand how their lives are a bit different than some of the other kids, who were just being nerds and pushing pins and stuff day by day by day, which I did. Professionally, to balance out my life, however, I started working at a very young age. By the time I was 13, I had my own window cleaning business in the town that, one of the towns that I was raised in, which is called Franklinton, Louisiana, which is in Washington Parish. And while there, like I said, I had my own little window cleaning business. It was cool, Later on, after we moved to Florida, I began to work for other great brands, other great companies, and the first of which was outside of the family business. And our family business, since the late 70s, had always been janitorial work, maintenance work, and then we specialized in floor cleaning specifically. No more toilets. We're doing commercial floors, Winn-Dixies, 50-offs, Big Lots, Pep Boys, AutoZones. That was what we got into. As time passed in high school, a young man sees different opportunities, wants to be involved in different things, and then the fact that we moved from Louisiana, where we were, on into South Florida, the dynamics of things changed as well. I began to work at Publix. Shopping is a pleasure. Bag boy. Loved it. Every minute of it. Awesome environment to grow up in, to understand about teamwork and hard work, and becoming a young man, an independent young adult who was a part of a team and to one day grow up to be Mr. Mickey Glass or Mr. John Peruzzi or, you know, any one of those freaking even Perry. I can't think of Perry. Mr. Perry. Or even a Mr. Perry. Because these guys, you know, they stood there with their hands on their hips and, you know, shirts all tucked in, ties are neat, and they were getting it in. And had nice automobiles and families. So it was a great environment to grow up in. I later on moved to the Marine Corps. After the Marine Corps, I worked for UPS and America Online. And those are just highlights. At UPS, I was a supervisor. Started out in the trenches, and you still stay in the trenches at UPS as a supervisor. Trust this, you stay in the trenches. Only now you have to listen to things associated with unions, and while you're trying to get a package out the door because it's gonna be late, and miss that next train or miss that next situation to get across town to someone. For their birthday or for their whatever significant or insignificant reason in the world that there is, there's some guy who's just standing there watching and not doing anything to assist or be a part of the process, but writing up a complaint and saying, that supervisor worked for 45 minutes, that was work that I could have done, I'm suing for it, and then we got to pay him. Tisk. I am a union supporter. I moved on into the professional realm of stage work with Local 115, IATSE, International Association of Theatrical and Stage Employees. Oh my God, I got it. I am pro-union. I am pro-union in their vein because those guys actually get it on. They actually get it on. They get it on. There's no... They're artists. They're craftsmen. They're skilled journeymen, and they look at the stage as a tool and a craft and a calling. And that jumps me off to my feelings about ABA basketball. As I said, I went to Deerfield Beach High School. To the best of my knowledge, the president of the organization's down in South Florida. One of the premier teams in South Florida plays on one of my old playgrounds. I happen to work with, be a part of, these are 3 of the 6. I be a part of the premier team. Not, I can't even say a premier team. The premier team. Word. You know what I'm saying? 6 out of 8. Come on. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but 6 out of 8. Come on, man. And I'm so glad that Kevin Watkins and Jermaine Bell and this Jason, they walked into the bar that I was working at for pennies on the dollar, you know, working for tips and tips alone, and invited me to come be a part of the Jacksonville Giants one day during an art walk. And I'm thinking like, yeah, it's cool, man. All right, yeah, you know, it's, like, who are you guys? Like, you guys must not be much if you're here talking to me. I'm like a bartender in a bar, you know, trying to recruit somebody to come to be a part of your organization. You know, like, yeah, okay, all right, see you guys around. And then it struck me. I was somebody special. I am one of the coolest people of my generation that I know. Even after the Marine Corps, I am really a really cool guy. So, I'm sorry, I'm adjusting here. I have to get up on my perch. I'm like, exactly, these guys came here and they're talking to me. They want to get it inside track, you know what's good? Yeah. Pew. Pew. I walked expeditiously down the street looking see if I could find this dude in a suit and two guys who were 7 foot tall. It didn't take long. Found them. I walked up to Kevin and I said, "Hey man," I said, "I'd like to take you up on this." And a goofball for my first season with the team, I definitely was. It was a social nightmare for me. I was, I though I had run for the Marine Corps track team when I was in Millington, Tennessee. I fell down during practice with some kids and like knocked one of them over. Uh, with the team doing a practice in the Veterans Memorial Arena, and it's freaking freezing. It's freezing in the building. And so I went and was given the assignment of water boy. I said, "Hey, go fill this up with some water for the guys." I brought them hot water. I'm serious. I figure, it's cold. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. And I never did understand why athletes cried at the end of games. So at least college athletes, I'll say. This is a prop that was given to me by a law student who I became friends with. So I found out why young men cry at the end of games. Because at the end of seasons, at the end of championship runs, because they put their heart. It's not a ball that's bouncing down that court. It's their heart, and they pass it to each other, one another, and then someone else catches it. It was from the other team, and they're like, "Oh no, you intercepted. What happened? You did not catch my heart." And they're like, "No, it's my bad. It's your bad." And then there's this dynamic of how things go, and then they build this brotherhood and this camaraderie, and then at this particular point, that many of these young men are in their 20s, mid-20s, and then even moving on into their 30s, and literally are becoming veterans of the game. The game that they've been playing for 20 something years. 30 something years. There's a lot involved in that. There's a lot of blood, sweat, torn ACLs, and tears involved in all of that. And when we were in Tampa, at the college down there, and we won our first championship that I happened to get to by carpooling with some of the other guys, because I was living in a homeless shelter at the time. I had a, what's the word for that? I had a moment in my life. It was like the bucket list before you even knew what the bucket list was. To understand what victory is. Nah, I've done victory. I'm fucking United States Marine. I know what victory is. But to see and feel brotherhood, to be a part of a group of people who were there to make other people happy, whose job it is, whose aspiration it is to be loved, to be liked, to do things that bring light in other people's lives, and to share that emotion together as a one, as a united band of people. They even let me cut a piece of the net down. I cut myself with this. I cut myself with the scissors. So like even my little piece of the net, it's like I didn't know how much I was supposed to cut. I'm like, I'm like that's no. I mean, I wanted it. It's mine. I know I contributed to the team, but I'm like I didn't throw up any points. I don't know how much I was supposed to get. So I cut this thing that was like as little as my pinky, like the two segments there, and there was more blood than freaking net. But you can't take that away. You can't buy those on a shelf or anything like that. And it's that I feed off of and I'm appreciative of. And it's that type of an experience or that process, that the process that gets people to the experience that I want to play a role in and a part in helping to provide sustainable growth for the sport of basketball and for the American Basketball Association itself.